write it. Joe will write it.
Welcome to the Cowboys UNcovered. Let's go. Hey, we're back. Yeah. Hey, a couple weeks into the new year, and we got some changes. Mike McCarthy gone as head coach. We're going to cover that today and get into some rookie prospects. Obviously, coach replacements, but we'll be looking at another mock draft as well. So, hey, buckle up, y'all, and welcome in Joe, Dave. How y'all doing?
What's up, man? Been a busy, crazy week. Yeah, it's been exciting. I will say this has been exciting. I've been looking forward to this show ever since Mike McCarthy's contract expired. I've been looking forward to this show since we started this show, since probably episode 1 before the season.
Probably deserved an emergency podcast, to be honest.
October 14th, we broadcasted about. That's when I took my stand on Mike McCarthy out. So it has come to fruition. We have to be thankful. Say, hey, thanks for nothing. I mean, he's got a Super Bowl and millions of dollars, so we can't all feel sorry for him. Good job on your, being Jason Garrett 2.0.
Rich man's Jason Garrett, maybe. I'll take 12 and 5 seasons. But he speed ran Jason Garrett's 10 years. He did it in 5. Congrats. Man, coming in hot.
Wow. I mean, Dave, maybe that's a good segue to put up the old graphic there, Alex. So the Dallas Cowboys are in search of their 10th head coach in franchise history. You can see, with the great Tom Landry there, started things out. Look at that record, by the way.
Yeah, that Landry record.
Yeah,
250
fucking wild.
Jimmy Johnson lost 1 playoff game. Come on.
Yeah. Why did we get rid of him?
Well, back-to-back Super Bowls and getting fired is kind of a weird way to go. So,
yeah, that's
that never
weird.
happens again.
The Barry Switzer came in there, and anybody could have ran that team. It was basically playing Madden. And then after that, Chan Gailey, didn't realize he had a winning record. Good on you, but that was terrible. Campo, let's not talk about that. Then the great Bill Parcells came in and turned things around. Unfortunately, ran old Larry out of town, though. Obviously he wasn't able to jive with Jerry for much longer. So thanks. And then we got to Wade, right? Wade lasted a little bit of a while, and then I was actually working with the Cowboys when he got fired midseason. That was the year that I was interning, and then the Clapper, Jason Garrett. Then we ended up with Mike, and now who knows, right? But look at the records between. Yeah, there you go. I will say that's great. I will say, maybe the shot of the week should go to Mike McCarthy. Just thanks for your service.
Maybe the whole coaching staff too. Like, give some love to the other guys too.
Yeah,
McCarthy,
all the guys that tried.
Zimmer had big shoes to fill, and he kind of filled them, for the most part. So, but yeah,
good job.
See you, Mike McCarthy.
Loved him.
Came in hot, did his thing, and yeah, absolutely. Hey, I met Wade Phillips at the grocery store when I was like 16. I bagged his groceries. No, I cashier and then had to bag him out because we had no staff. So,
man,
that's hey, nice car.
Did he put up a defense on you?
Hey, all I know is I got a $10 tip for taking groceries out.
Oh, wow.
I'm nice. I'm good. Like this guy's awesome.
Yeah.
I got a Wade Phillips story. One time, training camp, it was nighttime. I was going to go do my laundry. It was just me and Wade Phillips in the elevator. And coach is like, chatting me up. He's like, what you doing? It's like, well, us interns got to do our own laundry, coach. He's like, started laughing. It's like, I guess that's true. But I think I usually do mine too. I was like, all right. But yeah, that was just a little. He was a really nice guy, but maybe a little too nice.
Yeah.
Man, we got to take a look at some other candidates, right? We're on a search for who's gonna fill some of the shoes or actually exceed. To be honest. But we're on a star search. All right, we've got some candidates that we're looking at. So big news right now that everybody, I'm trying to decipher: is it just talk or is it real? But it's seeming a little bit more real with Deion Sanders. We just did an interview with Robert Saleh, but I wanted to ask, what is one of you guys' favorite potential head coaches? I did see Pete Carroll was in the mix, okay, but let me know, what is some of you guys' dreams?
Well, I'll lean on Dave to take us away here because I know you got some stuff lined up. So
yeah, I've looked at a lot of these guys. I put this list forward. Pete Carroll is a possible name too, but I haven't seen him come up as an interview candidate for anyone yet, so I didn't put him there. I guess technically Bill Belichick hasn't in the same way, but he's obviously there's been smoke there. So Cowboys have taken slightly, I guess, different approaches to hiring their head coaches and interviewing than the rest of the league. The past couple hiring cycles, Jerry Jones loves guys who are familiar with the team and who he knows can carry the star in the way that he wants it to be carried. But we've had some wild speculation, and a couple things come from fact, and then of course, agents and other teams and even coaches are going to manipulate the narrative to either better themselves or to just get their name out there or to muddy the waters or whatever the case may be. So in my research, I put together these names. I wanted to talk a little bit about each of them, starting with number one. First of all, before we dive into that, I want to say what I want from a Dallas Cowboys head coach is someone who will change things, like Obama. I want change here, all right? Change will change sells, okay? Excitement sells. The same old thing doesn't sell, and that's how I feel about it. So one guy I know can shake up the entire dynamic of this and possibly move us in another direction. Because you think about this, McCarthy was hired and given the keys to this Lamborghini, if you want to call it that, to the castle from Jason Garrett, and then they said, just be a little bit better than Jason Garrett. And that got us nowhere. It got us 1 or 2 extra wins per regular season. And we need to redo this whole thing. So stop thinking we need to have a little bit better than Jason Garrett performance, a little bit better than Mike McCarthy performance. We need to start over. We need to reinvent the wheel here. And one guy who does that incredibly well, Deion Sanders. Prime time.
Oh,
I've come around a little bit on the idea of Deion Sanders. Do I think he's the best candidate? I don't know if he's the best candidate. But if we want to change and shake things up, Deion will do that. He obviously did that with Colorado and his other stops before then, coaching his sons and everything, of course. But he changed the entire culture. And people kind of said, oh, well, maybe it's just a lot of hype. They've actually he put out a good product on the field for the most part with a downtrodden team, inspired these kids. I think he can do a similar thing with the Cowboys. Now, will it result in a Super Bowl? I don't know, but we're going for upside here, and I think Deion Sanders has upside. The next name on the list is Robert Saleh, fired from the Jets head coach.
Whoa! We're gonna go around the horn here.
Okay.
Joe's got something to say about Deion.
I'll take a step back.
Just slow down.
I introduced Deion Sanders, and Joe, tell me what you think about Deion.
Okay, so let me just say, when I was working for the San Marcos Daily Record, back in the day, I interviewed Deion Sanders. In fact, my Twitter profile pic is me interviewing Deion. When Shador and Shiloh were just middle schoolers, I covered remember how Deion used to run those like middle school leagues? I saw them play when they were middle school kids in San Marcos, Texas. So let me just say, I saw him from the start of his coaching career.
I saw a young Shiloh as well. I was a basketball scorekeeper, and Deion was the coach. My mom told me to play it cool, so I didn't ask him for anything. But yeah, man, this guy's got coaching in his blood for a long time. That's 20 years plus.
And you know what, Dave? I'm gonna go ahead and just give you some thumbs up. I agree with everything that you just said there. I would go a step further and say that Deion Sanders is probably the only coach that's kind of out there right now that can actually handle Jerry Jones and tell him to, step aside, take a breather, big man, I got you. Because that's what he brings to the table. He knows that he's not supposed to outshine Jerry, but guess what? He's bringing that shine. And he's bringing the change. And he's been successful at all the levels, that he's been at. We saw him go to the national championship game, before he went to Colorado. And then we saw him turn that program around, make it national just 2 years. Yeah, recruiting his own sons, and then Travis Hunter, that had a lot to do with it. But my point is, this guy, I think you mentioned that nobody else is looking at him, but I don't think he wants to coach anywhere else. Maybe the Falcons or the 49ers, but those positions are not open. Dallas Cowboys, Jerry gives you a ring, you take that call. And it sounds like, from what Adam Schefter is reporting, that he'd be totally willing to, not do the whole package deal that was, announced earlier with Shedeur, but he'd be willing to coach Dak. And that's what I want to hear. He's going to bring a whole different dynamic to the Cowboys and, exciting. When Mike McCarthy got hired, I wasn't necessarily excited. I was okay with it. I was a little more upbeat because I thought, he won a Super Bowl. Maybe he can bring some of that energy here. Didn't quite happen that way, but Dion, he's a little more upside, I believe. Alex, what's your take, man?
Yeah, I would love to have Dion. Yeah, I mean, a guy who's played here, knows the staff. You need somebody that can handle the staff. If you're a fan, that's what you want. I don't know if the actual Cowboys ownership wants that. Right? They want to just keep doing what they've been doing. But yeah, I love it. I like watching Colorado. It's exciting. I want that same energy with the Cowboys because really, it's just like I'm from Dallas. I rep my team, rinse and repeat. But you give me Dion and whatever else might come with that, I might actually start to believe. So, yeah, I would love to have Dion.
So I think we're all on the side of I'm okay with it or better with Dion. And I think part of it is not only does he bring inevitable change, maybe drastic change, but he also brings I think he would lure top coaching talent. I think he understands that bringing in a good staff is very important. I think it's more important in today's NFL than ever before because you have some, let's say about half the coaches in the league call plays. The other half are CEO types. So those are the two types of coaches that are out there. And I think the most successful formula is to have a CEO type who understands how to bring in top minds and at rinse and repeat. Because if you have success, they will leave. And if you lean too hard on something like that, you're not going to build a good system. And I think you have, some guy like Andy Reid. Who are the coordinators at Kansas City right now? I think Spagnuolo's on defense. I don't even remember. I don't know. But Andy Reid's the figurehead there, and he kind of things disseminate from him. I think Deion Sanders will just attract top coaches. So I have a list of these 6 guys. One of the most important things is, are they going to bring in top coaching talent? And I think Deion would absolutely do that.
You think he's a good recruiter? Yeah, he is.
Well, yeah, and I liked his OC for Colorado as well. Like they were drawing up some good stuff here and there. Talent was just different in the NFL. I think he can pull some stuff off, and some other guys would like that. The whole factor of if we can, the Cowboys are known to win. If you're OC or a DC and you come into a winning program, you're going to get a chance for a head coaching job later. So it's kind of a great path for, and a great destination for people to want to jump in on.
Yeah, and I think that let's say that there's another candidate on this list. Let's transition to the next candidate because I think they kind of are in a similar vein, and I'm going to go to Kellen Moore next. So, cool. Kellen Moore. Sorry to mix it up on you, Alex, but Kellen Moore, because imagine Deion Sanders bringing in a Kellen Moore. I think that's the kind of thing that Deion could influence him. But Kellen Moore is a top candidate right now because he was an OC with the Cowboys. If Kellen Moore came in on his own, I mean, he did okay in San Diego, but that was forgettable. He has maybe the best roster in football in Philadelphia right now. What has he learned in those 2 stops? Is he going to be better than what he was here? Now, he had a great on paper, he was great, but does anyone really think Kellen Moore's going to come in here and lead a team to the Super Bowl? I think that's a no from me, dog. From my homie, American Idol. What is it, Randy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Randy Jackson.
Randy Jackson. That's going to be a no for me, dog, on Kellen Moore. What do you guys think about Kellen Moore?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that. So, another former player, right? And him and Dak were in the same room together. So it's kind of like one of those situations where, I don't know, your buddy comes and starts working with you, but he's the boss, so you can hang out and do get away with stuff. I don't know. I just don't see that dynamic working. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I think that he is poised to, he should be getting these interviews. He's earned it at this point. He's shown that he does have a penchant for calling some solid plays and running a good offense. Now we saw him do some wild stuff. 3rd and 1, you're throwing long. We saw that way too much. But Dave, to your point, he's learned. I think he has learned. I think we've seen that with the Eagles. Now he does, do that kind of dumb stuff every now and then, but for the most part, he's definitely improved since he's been with the Cowboys as a play caller.
Yeah, no, the problem is that before he left, we felt like he was only doing what the Joneses were telling him, because he was basically undermining Mike McCarthy at that point. They have their own kind of game plans for how they wanted to run the offense. And so even in the media, you'll hear people saying, okay, now he will run the ball. Well, maybe it's because
Alex, let me just say this real fast. Mike McCarthy actually undermined him. Mike McCarthy called him out in the media multiple times for his outlandish play calling style. So he threw him under that bus a little bit. So anyway, please keep going.
You're supposed to do what the head coach wants, though. So
you're right. You're right. Yeah. I just want to point that out.
I'll add to that, because I know specifically McCarthy. First of all, if you want to know a little bit more about this, go look for the YouTube video 105.3 The Fan. Bobby Belt exposes some of the storylines that he held under wraps while McCarthy was there. The reason he held these under wraps was because he didn't have enough sources to make it worthwhile to blast a current head coach. But McCarthy's gone, so he's like, let me just empty my bag of tricks while it's relevant. Some things that he said was that Kellen Moore was going to be the coach, the offensive coordinator the following year before he left. And McCarthy came out in the last press conference of the year, and somebody asked him, hey, who's being evaluated? He's like, well, everyone's under evaluation. Everybody, including the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, everyone is under evaluation for next year. And that really rubbed Kellen Moore the wrong way. Maybe that gave him a chip on his shoulder, made him want to leave. I mean, he's a young guy. He has his whole career ahead of him as a coach and coordinator. And he said, F that. I'm going to San Diego, where the weather is nice and the girls are pretty. Take me to the Paradise City. He went to San Diego. He had a good time there. It wasn't the best. I don't think Herbert is as moldable as he may have looked there. So I don't really know what to think of how he did in San Diego. I don't know what to think of how he did in Philly, because that's such a great roster. But if you look at what he did with the Cowboys, he did have success coordinating Dak's offense. They were a top unit in the league at the time while he was helping. So
and it helped that they were, locker room buddies. They, came in together. So there's a little bit of that good connection there. So wait, who is y'all's top candidate?
Man,
maybe we get to that after the list.
Let's go through some of these. I want to give these guys all some love. Everybody has a little bit of love to be given, and then I'll give the most love at the end. Let me introduce the next guy. I'll go with Robert Saleh. All right, this guy got fired from the Jets. I was introducing him earlier. He didn't get along with Aaron Rodgers, which is his main flaw. He had an incredible track record for defense, though. He was a 49ers defensive coordinator, absolutely crushed it on the 49ers, made them a powerhouse defensive team, moved to the Jets, made them a powerhouse defensive team. And literally the week after he got fired, this team went from a top 10 defense to a bottom 10 defense the rest of the year.
It's
So
incredible. Like literally, they just fell off. He had
They
a better
fell.
record. He had a better record while he was there than after he left.
Yeah.
They just used him as a scapegoat. And
They
this
did.
guy had Zach Wilson and the corpse of Aaron Rodgers with no Achilles. And
You went there. Okay.
yeah,
That's true.
he had a better record with Zach Wilson. So what am I supposed to say? Like the guy has had no quarterbacks, and all the defenses have been great.
And I think what's great about bringing in a guy like him is that you have to pair him with a great OC. It's not a mystery. Yeah. He's got defensive stuff on lock, and he's a great. First of all, is everyone already tired of hearing a leader of men as a phrase? I'm very tired. I think that's so stupid. Leader of
no,
men.
but not everybody is. Not
That's
everybody is.
And that's Kellen Moore's fault, or flaw.
I don't think Kellen Moore is necessarily leader of men.
Say leader. I don't know why I say leader of men. I don't get.
It's because it's implied that the people in the locker room are going to tune you out. That's what it's saying. It's saying, can you get these guys' attention? Not just your kids at your house. Can you get these guys that are all millionaires?
These grown-ass millionaire guys who have been the best player on their teams forever, right? So,
Bill Parcells was not a leader of men. It was Bill Parcells was Big Tuna. All right.
Yeah, and maybe it's a bias.
So anyway, it's a new phrase in the lexicon. That's fine, whatever. But Robert Saleh fits that mold.
Yeah,
and I know he'd bring in and he would attract top coaching talent. I know
no quarterback with the Niners either while he was there for the most part, right?
And,
for the most part, he's never ever had a quarterback, and he's always had a defense. Like literally, he's.
What do you mean never? Did he have Alex Smith? Did he have Kaepernick? Number
hey,
one?
was he,
bro? Are you kidding me?
Hey,
nasty.
Let's all recognize too that the OC HC at San Francisco was Shanahan, and obviously they worked well together, which doesn't mean we're bringing Kyle Shanahan in for OC, but maybe he knows and understands the disciple tree from Kyle Shanahan. He knows the guy he wants to bring in to help run his offense.
Yeah.
And as long as it's not whoever he brought, because he did bring a San Francisco guy to the Jets and they sucked, but maybe that was Aaron Rodgers.
No. That was Aaron Rodgers. That the OC for the Jets was literally the OC for Aaron Rodgers when he was with the Packers.
The first one he brought it. The first one he had was
he's never gotten fired. That guy.
Well, before Aaron Rodgers came in, he had his San Francisco guy.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what I mean. And then he got fired. Yeah, because he sucked. They brought in Aaron Rodgers and Hackett or whoever it was.
Yeah. So that's the flaw with the defensive-minded coaches. We have to figure out a way to fix the offense because we can't score any points. So
yeah.
But I wouldn't hate on a defensive-minded
great
coach.
Candidate. Saleh's a great candidate.
Let me just throw this out there and see if it sticks for you guys. I noticed that we didn't have Cliff Kingsbury here on the list. What if we got Robert and pair him with Cliff as the OC? Can we do that? What do you think about that?
I mean, there's 20 coaches I could have put on this list. I didn't want to write notes for 20 coaches.
It has to be a big pay raise to switch in division because they could probably match and they he might like having that young quarterback instead of trying to teach an old dog.
I don't think Kingsbury's coming over to be OC.
Oh yeah,
he'd have to come be head coach.
Right, he might like another.
That's fair.
Head coach.
That's fair. Yeah. I'm just saying he wasn't on the list, but
because Dan Quinn.
The one thing is there's no salary cap for a coach. You can hire coaches and coordinators all you want.
He's already firing a guy who wanted him and Dan Quinn, and they are off. They're doing. I don't think that tandem's going to break up for several years. To be honest, I think that's a good tandem. So I don't know that you'd have to make him head coach for sure and give him power.
Okay, it's a little bonus action with Kingsbury there, but
yeah, it's true. Well, we got more. You guys
Everyone's
ready for the next
one? Everyone's in play though.
Yeah, I would say the next one. Let me just say that watching Robert Saleh on Hard Knocks, what was it last year? Mm-hmm. He seemed like a coach that I could jive with. Like he seemed.
I definitely like him,
and he's got the financials down, so he could GM a little bit too, right? Because he was a financial guy out of college. And that's what he was doing before he got the head coach of the Jets. But yeah,
they hit on a lot of draft picks. They had the offensive and defensive player of the year, rookie of the year in the same season.
Sauce.
That's incredible.
Wilson,
that's a great stat. That's a great stat.
That's a good stat. Yeah.
All right,
Still couldn't do it done.
Let's move right along. We got some guys to cover here.
Leslie
the next
Frazier.
Leslie Frazier,
Frazier,
aka Leslie Frazier. Okay, so let me give you a history of this guy. I wrote a bunch of notes on him because he was the one who wasn't the freshest on everyone's mind right now. So Leslie Frazier is a career coach. All right, he did play in the NFL, but he's a career coach since 1999. First DC in 2003 at Cincinnati. So 2003, he was a defensive coordinator. They were okay, nothing special. He ends up getting hired to be the Vikings head coach. They went 3-13. This is 2000.
That was a disaster. I remember that.
He went 3-13, but his second season they went 10-6, and they made the playoffs. Now that wasn't enough to keep him in the role. He ended up. My note was it sucked and it was uneventful tenure. He went to the Bucks as the DC for 2 years, I believe. Then he went to Buffalo as DC, where he had success. He was there for 6 years while they had consistent playoff success. They were getting to conference championships pretty consistently as far as you can hope for, but they mutually parted ways, which is a death sentence for a coordinator that was in the. I mean, if you're making playoff runs and the team's like, "Nah, we're good without you," that means you were providing not a lot of value. So he left after 6 successful seasons. He's currently the assistant head coach in Seattle, that's a decent title. He's not a coordinator title, so he's assistant head coach, which is. There's not a whole lot of those around the league that have this guy's track record. He's been a legit head coach for over 20 years. Or a legit coordinator or coach. I don't know that he's going to bring any great talent with him on a coaching staff simply because people have seen him go places and then basically fail. And so I don't think a up-and-coming coordinator is going to say, oh, I got to go where Leslie Frazier's going because I'll have success. So I'm a no on this guy. I'm a Randy Jackson no on this guy. What do y'all think?
That's an incredible point because that's the vibe I was getting with Dion, except the opposite. It's like people will want to maybe join it because I don't think any coaches are seeing him as like a circus or a distraction. I think that narrative is like 5 years old, to be honest. Like at this point, he literally goes in and is just coaching, and he's been super serious the whole way. There's been no antics from Dion, and so I like the idea of coaches going there knowing that that may lead to another opportunity because any coach should know that we lost Dak. So the team should bounce back actually organically. So if that happens, then, people should want to join. But yeah, if you don't believe in the coach, that's just a problem. And it sucks to say, but I don't necessarily want a boring head coach. At least with Kellen Moore, like he's kind of seen as like a savvy OC type, right? So there's a lot of kind of buzz around that, and one of the other guys we'll get to later with Detroit, he's got some hype around him, and he definitely sounds like he's ready to get the heck up out of there with one of his recent interviews. So I want someone who's going to bring that new energy and is attracting other good coaches to follow along. Like that's what happened with Dan Quinn. He left and everybody jumped ship to go follow him over there. So who can we get? That's why I like this whole idea, like being able to reach into that Shanahan tree, stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say that you're 100% correct. That the word that comes to mind is boring, and unfortunately, maybe this is like a Rooney Rule sort of interview. I don't know, but I just don't see him being a serious candidate at this point. Not with some of the other guys getting thrown around, and to your point, like. I'm sure he's a good coach. He wouldn't last this long, right? If he's not a good coach, but he's probably just a really good coordinator. Maybe he could be a DC. I would love him to be a DC.
Yeah, like maybe they called it like he's not a current OC or DC now, so that means we'd be having him jump to head coach based on his past history of doing that. But it just doesn't seem like how the Joneses normally operate.
Yeah, I can appreciate the idea of bringing him in on the staff. Like, I certainly like having a former head coach on your staff. I think that's extremely valuable. I think bringing in a guy especially because he does have a dense amount of knowledge about the current NFL, like, and the past 10 or 2-3 decades. Like, that's great knowledge. But to bring this guy in and expect him to lead a modern offense and modern defense is more than you can ask from this guy. And bless him, but he had his day in the sun. He was a hot candidate. I remember He was a hot candidate a decade ago. He's not anymore.
Oh, sorry, guys. The producers are telling us we got to move on to the next guy.
Move on to the next guy. All right, I got another one for you. He was too boring. Here, how about John Gruden?
There we go.
Here's the guy. All right, storied history. 2 Super Bowl appearances with 2 different teams. Tell me how many people have done that. There's only like 3 or 4 guys. I think Dick Vermeil. I think I just lost the guy.
Yeah.
Who else?
Bill
Parcells. Bill Parcells.
Okay,
right?
there you go.
Parcells of Giants and Patriots, I think.
Like we would have thought Andy Reid would have done it, but he could not get it done with the Eagles. But it's really hard to do.
Did they lose the Super Bowl? They never got to the Super Bowl.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the Eagles lost the Super Bowl. Remember the Patriots.
That's right.
That's the people you're talking about here. It's incredibly hard to do. Now, what I have heard, and if you've been listening to every ounce of Cowboys content on the YouTube right now, you probably heard this as well. There's being some whispers that the Cowboys don't want to entangle themselves in his lawsuit. He has a lawsuit against the NFL right now for his wrongful termination from the Raiders I don't even remember exactly how it happened or who it was or whatever. But his emails, they were problematic. He used some. I'm not even going to get into it. It was a bad look for everyone, especially on Gruden, unfortunately. And it was very one-sided against him, fairly or not, whatever the case may be. That's still hanging over his head, and it may prevent him from getting a legit NFL job. So I encourage Gruden, hey, stay in the media, do your stuff that you're doing in the media, because he's a great personality. I love hearing from him. But I don't think he's going to get a chance.
He started a podcast like a year ago, and getting his takes off that way. And we saw Brian Flores sue the NFL when the Dolphins actually lost that first round draft pick for tanking, and they were kind of blaming it on him, and they fired him. But really, they were telling him to lose, type of thing. So, point is, he was trying to get head coaching jobs while suing the NFL, and that did not go well. So what you're saying there, I think that there might be something to that. It might be a little bit tricky, but it's also, does his old school message kind of still resonate with some guys? I don't know. Maybe it does.
You know what? I'm going to make this short and sweet. This guy is just a name for cannon fodder. He's not going to be another head coach in the NFL because of the stuff that you mentioned, Dave. And I'm going to leave it at that. Like, let's move on. This guy, I love Gruden as a personality. I mean, he would have been a good head coach before all that came out, but maybe not because of the
we're gonna save the best for after Bill Belichick.
Okay. Let me start off. Actually, Dave, you kick off.
I'll introduce him real quick. I don't have a long one for him. It's very obvious. He's a mega stud head coaching. That no one has his resume. Unfortunately, his last 4 or 5 years were not great. Everyone understands Tom Brady was the one who went and had success, where Bill Belichick stayed without him and did not have success. So no Brady equals no success for Bill Belichick. Most likely would be able to bring in good coaches, but in my opinion, he's going to bring in his guys, which I'm not excited about. He's got his coaching tree is not as successful as he ever was. And maybe that says, hey, Tom Brady was absolutely the GOAT. Bill Belichick, great coach. I don't think he's a great candidate.
Let me get a little of that magic. I would be okay with it. Interesting fact to point out, Bill Belichick still has yet to sign his contract. He has not inked anything with the University of North Carolina as of this afternoon, this evening.
Intriguing.
So I just want to point that out there, that it ain't a done deal, fellas. There's no ink dried on the contract. So it's good to speculate about this one still. And I would not, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't hate it. I would actually be pretty excited about it.
Who was that stupid guy that was his coordinator, though? The offensive coordinator that went to the Lions and sucked?
Not the guy with Patricia, right?
Yeah, Matt Patricia.
Oh, yeah.
He's coming with him. And if he does, you're effed in the A, brother. I'm not in. Yeah. He sucks. He's bad.
Back to the whole thing of wanting good staff to follow, like that. Y'all are a nail on the head right there. Like hammer on. Yeah. Anyway,
we got one more to go.
So let's go on to the next one. Star Search Cowboys edition. That's right. And for the final one, Aaron Glenn. Okay, Lions. This is maybe the first coach who's actually in the playoffs that we've discussed so far.
Yeah, and to be clear, I definitely I left off Ben Johnson. He just doesn't seem like a fit because he wants to be the highest paid probably, and he wants to dictate a lot of terms. So I just kind of left him off the list. But Aaron Glenn was a former Cowboys player. Actually, kind of funny. He's played for 3 of the teams that have an open head head coaching spot right now.
Both the Texans teams, though, or both the Texas teams, right?
Well, and the Saints and the Jets. So is it 4? Did he play for the Texans too? Jeez. So he's all over the place. But anyway, he's been at the Lions for 4 years, has obviously had a mass success as a defensive coordinator. He's incredibly well respected. Everyone has said this guy deserves a head coaching spot. What I like the most about Aaron Glenn and why he's my personal favorite candidate.
There you go.
I don't think he's the most likely, but he's my personal favorite candidate. The reason being, he's going to bring in top talent from the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are currently the best coach team in the league, in my opinion. And maybe the Vikings have something to say about that because they won 14 games with Sam Darnold. But
Chiefs.
Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. Sam Darnold versus Patrick Mahomes. Give me a break.
Okay.
But Aaron Glenn, top coordinator in the process. He's the top defensive coordinator in the process, a great leader. He'd bring a great DC and OC. And what Broadus has been saying is that he is very likely to bring along with him Mark Brunell, who, how great was Mark Brunell? Not great. But he's been now in the NFL for about 30 years, and he's become a top coordinator candidate. He is currently the quarterbacks coach for the Lions. And, hey, the Lions brought in Matt Stafford and created a system in which he could thrive. Now, if Stafford goes a step outside of his comfort zone, he starts to mess up. So you have to create something for Stafford. I think Mark Brunell has done a good job of setting that in place. And Glenn would bring somebody like Brunell, I think, and he has the connections and the respect to bring in a good coaching staff.
Yeah, well, hey, everybody in the chat, let us know who you think Cowboys should sign as a head coach.
Nobody says Gruden, okay?
Yeah.
What's up, Fizzle?
Wrong graphic.
A little preview there.
We got a lot to cover for you guys today, man. This is a great show. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, we're ready,
It's
man.
a fun show.
Those were the top kind of prospects that we're looking at. I would love to have Aaron Glenn, and I'm also kind of in on Robert Saleh. I felt like he kind of got screwed, and I like the defense. Like, if you can tell me I'm almost guaranteed one strength on one side of the ball, and then now we have to, we still got to figure out the other side. I do prefer it to be offense is already solved to begin with, but I love that we're about to pay Parsons. Let's maximize what we're getting out of Parsons.
That's a great point. And you have to, and so you could say it for the other side of the ball too. Like, you're spending a lot of money on these 2 players. Pick one. You have to maximize what you're getting out of this money. And if you're going to give Parsons the biggest deal of all time for defensive player, you better bring in a guy who is a big-time Micah Parsons guy. And who wouldn't be? Put me as a DC, and I'll blitz Parsons every damn play. Like, let's go. Like,
you think you can coach Micah Parsons? Like, go get the quarterback. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know, right? Blitz, bro. Actually, he has a lot of latitude. I like that about the way he's played this past couple of years. They're saying, hey, get at the line, but if you feel something, go. Trust your instincts. Like Star Fox. If you ever played Star Fox 64, trust your instincts.
That's a throwback. Let me just give my quick take on Aaron Glenn. Dave, I'm pretty much in agreement with you that this might be my favorite candidate here on the list. Deion Sanders being, I guess, 1B. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, Aaron Glenn would be my number 1. For all the reasons you mentioned, bringing in the staff, he's got the experience. That defense looks incredible. I don't know if you've been watching the playoffs, obviously, and they absolutely shut down their opponents. So I don't know what to say.
I mean, we're getting some great comments in here from people looking at some of these coaching candidates. Fizzle, a homie, ours, friend of the cast. Absolutely, we need leadership, and so some of these guys filter themselves out because I don't think they're great leaders. But I think Aaron Glenn is a fantastic leader. I'm not going to say leader of men. Everyone else is using that term. You can use that term all you want. I think he's just a pure leader of men and women, leader of men and they. All right, we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. But yeah, give me Aaron Glenn. He's my guy.
Yeah, man. And the only, I know Deion's like creeping back in, but because I've just heard so many no's over the course of time that he's not trying to go to the NFL, that's why I'm just like not as like, all right, it's going to happen. So like,
but if it's the Cowboys, bro.
Knows, I get it. I'm just saying the people who I have not heard a no from, I'm more interested in just checking them out a little bit more. Like I kind of know what I'm getting out of Deion because he's one of the only coaches that everyone knows, but not everyone knows these other guys. And I've liked looking into Aaron Glenn. So yeah, I think that is, I was hoping we get some news break already, but you know how the
I hope we covered the guy who gets it.
No.
Oh, sorry. Wait, guys, can I first mention that we can't sign or interview Aaron Glenn until after they lose. They have.
Well, hey, how do you? I don't know. This may be contested because I heard Kellen Moore is getting an interview before his game. So
yeah, he's getting interviewed on Friday.
So I'm not sure. You're right.
Tomorrow.
I've heard both. I've heard both reports. So I don't know what the case is. They should have done it last week, to be honest. Right?
Oh God, any coach is going to have a hard time with Will McClay. He can't draft OT or DT.
He drafted. Nobody forgot about Tyler Smith, I guess. Tyler Smith is
our
best offensive lineman, and he picked up Hoffman off the street. He picked TJ Bass up off the street. I think you're maybe DT.
Don't get
maybe
offended.
He can't
don't
draft a DT.
I
love it though. Like, let's go, nobody.
Yeah,
I love that.
So
yeah,
Robert wants
great takes.
He wants primetime and Saleh as DC. I would definitely.
I love that.
Dude, that is a great take, Robert Simmons.
Love it.
How fun does that sound? It sounds fun, man. That sounds like grabbing. It just sounds like ripping. Like, let's rip. That legs are gone. Probably so, man. He broke his ankle and it poked out of his sock. His ankle bone was poking out of his sock. So his legs might be done, but he can still
put it back
sling
together. He's good.
And then the cap this past year. So yeah, his legs are a little bit more shot.
Go check the 2023 stats. He was pretty sick there. Top offense in the league. No big deal. Let's move to some prospects.
Woo! Let's
We don't have to talk Mike McCarthy. What's
next? Playoffs or prospects?
McCarthy. Yeah, we're gonna do the playoffs real quick, okay? But just wanted to say, like Joe pointed out, this would be the 10th coach in Cowboys history. They don't like to move on for guys too quickly, so let's make this a good one. All right. So we'll talk about college playoffs first. All right, Notre Dame did make it to the next round. You see Joe's repping the gear, and they're going up against Ohio State, who did take out Texas in the last round. RIP Texas. But hey, we checked out all of the prospects in that game, and got a lot of good performances. So a lot of good players that we're excited, regardless of the outcome, to potentially draft. There's still running backs on both teams. There's all kind of talent on these squads. So it should be a fun. When's the game, guys? It's still a Monday, right?
So, ladies and gentlemen, I will be at the game with my brother who graduated from Notre Dame. We'll be flying to Atlanta. Your boy will be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I got the fresh gear just delivered today here in Austin, Texas.
Man.
So I'm
ready.
Hope
you have a great time. That looks like. Yeah. I mean, I'm jealous.
I'll send some pics and post them on Twitter. So watch out for those. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that. We'll report back. And Dynasty, I hear you got a little bit of media news yourself. You're going to go check out a bowl game yourself,
Bowl.
Yeah?
Yes, Senior Bowl. I got the credentials acceptance. So, yeah.
Awesome. That's
a
fantastic.
lot of the player profile crews trying to go out there, check out some
Cowboys UNcovered will be represent.
That's right. Man. We got to check out some of these practices, see who's like the next Lab McConkey. He balled out early in practice, and that's kind of how people knew for sure to lock him in, even though he has some national championships under his belt. But he was still getting underrated even through that whole process.
Look for the next Aaron Donald, man. Aaron Donald blew up at the Senior Bowl. Was the only guy that Zach Martin couldn't block that day. I remember specifically hearing about Aaron Donald destroying the Senior Bowl. Let us know the next big DT, bro.
Yeah, I was on Fizzle Dollars show on Tuesday, and yeah, Fizzle, I ended up finding out I got accepted to that Senior Bowl. So, yeah, man, that's gonna be dope. It's we're getting a chance to be a part of all of the process here, so it's nice to just see all the different stages, scouting, and get to do some in person. So that'll be sick, man. So hope to come back with some good info, and hopefully it's gonna help the Cowboys Nation.
Maybe we get one of these guys on the show.
So let's just do a quick score prediction for the Notre Dame game.
Oh hell!
Oof.
Let's say I'm gonna say like 34-24 Ohio State. Gotta be.
Okay. So I know you're a little hurt about the UT losing. I definitely still am in pain from that, but I'm going to go Notre Dame victorious, 31-21.
Yeah, I'll take. Sorry, I'm gonna.
I'm sorry. Would you rather it be on all Big Ten national championship, bro? You want Penn State and Ohio State? Come on, that'd be boring as hell.
I respect that the coach for Notre Dame, though. He's been grinding with that program 3 years in and already has that program in national championship. So I'm just gonna predict him to somehow go above the odds. I'll take him 27-24 Notre Dame.
It's the best season
playing
for
against
anyone.
His former team. Coaching against his former team.
The best season for anyone who's ever lost to Northern Illinois. Really impressive stuff.
And Joe had mentioned potentially getting someone on the podcast. We'll see. It's unlikely. You're catching guys like straight out of practice reps. But anyway, we'll try to work out some type of stuff like that in the future. That would
cut some audio at least. Yeah, maybe a little video.
Yeah, Dave, I just want to hear from Alex.
Dave's trying to work on some potential guests too. But yeah, Dave, like nice. on field reporting. I see what you mean. Yeah,
shout him out to see what you say. That's why I need to be there. I wish I could make it with you. I could be filmed while you get out there and like, hey bro, you come say something like hold up a weird sign.
Yeah, we might be able to bring some clips back for the channel.
So let's talk some prospects,
Dame,
man.
But OSU gonna win. Yeah. I mean that's kind of what I expect. But hey, Texas somehow limited Jeremiah Smith, but it's just a loaded team. It's a crazy loaded team, man. All right, let's roll. So we're getting into some prospects. And,
got a lot of them for you.
One of the coaches we talked about is joining a team as one of the prospects are leaving the team. So Bill Belichick is going to UNC, whereas we've got Amari Hampton leaving UNC. So he'll definitely wish he had that guy. But Abdul Carter, who's going to be in this championship, or who just lost in the semifinal, and Nick Scorton. And it's here in Texas A&M, and then we got another Texas guy down there at the bottom, Savion Williams. But we did 2 edges, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. So Dual Carter, Nick Scorton, Amari Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Alec Ayo Manor, Savion Williams, and we're gonna get into it. I do want to just say that the Savion Williams TCU, we've just seen some bad luck with TCU with Jalen Reagor, and now it's Quentin Johnston. I'm a little worried about.
Put him in that league. Don't do it.
Yeah. So how about this, Dave? You tell me where you want to start. I will say that guy's explosive, but
you teased them all, right? Let's just start at the top because there's good storylines up and down.
We'll knock out the edges then.
We'll knock out the edges. Let's talk about them both 2 at a time here. I think that may be our best way to use this time. So Abdul Carter. First of all, let me go to my nose. This guy is a monster. 6'3", 252, wildly fast. Gets under whenever he wants. He's the low man. You're not going to get under Abdul Carter. He's too quick. He blows up anything cheap. Anytime a guy tried to put a couple hands on him out in space, he either chops them or gets under him. I mean, it reminds me a lot of Parsons, but I don't think he's as fast as Parsons. But I think he makes up for it with viciousness. Like every move he does to a tackle or to a guard is vicious. And I think he didn't get a lot of opportunities to blitz down the middle of the defensive line, which Parsons does quite a bit for the Cowboys. I think in the NFL, they're going to move him all around, and he is going to be unstoppable, in my opinion. So this is like if Micah wasn't. I mean, he dips, he dives like a shark. Lateral movement. He can hop. He's like a top grade running back. The way he can move laterally. So he's a giant wall of presence too. If you're anywhere near him, you're going to get effed up by him. The closer he plays to the ball, the better. That's kind of goes back to he's going to eventually get to rush from the middle of the defensive line, and it's unfair. If he goes against centers and guards, you're cooked.
Yeah, I got him on the screen here. Yeah,
incredibly impressive stuff. Every single play he has, he explodes. I just hope the guy stays healthy. Knock on wood. I think he's an incredible player. And Nick Scorton is totally the opposite. I don't want to cover both these guys, but maybe we should. Okay, let me just do real quick. Okay, Joe, are you prepared to do two at once? I'm going to do two at once. We're going to get our time in. Nick Scorton is 6'4". Can we go to Nick Scorton? He's 6'4", 280. Yeah. 280. This guy is huge. All right. This guy is I don't know who he compares to because he's so large. He's big AF. He's a monster. Highlights are insane. He beats guys from literally being on the ground. He's on all fours like a bear, and he beats his offensive lineman. He's very hard to read because of that. So you don't know he can if he gets to you, he's getting through you. And now he may not be as fast, but he's a launcher. Which maybe get him in trouble with good offensive schemes. But the guy is 3 or 4 yards in the backfield if he decides to bull rush every single down. They're two different players. He's not as fast. Pick your poison here. Carter's going to go way earlier because of how fast he is. People have said Scorton is not worthy of a first round pick. I think he is. I would take him in the 20s. I think he is incredible.
Yeah, and with Abdul Carter, this series we've kind of covered different ranges of where we think guys will get drafted, right? We wanted to get some guys like Ted McMillan and Abdul Carter that we think will go ahead of the Cowboys just to see, okay, what if Cowboys trade up? What are we dealing with? We don't really think he's going to fall to us. Do we think Cowboys are going to make a trade up? That's the real question.
It also helps us rank. You want to know where the top is. And you kind of help rank your guys.
Yeah. Like know what good looks like.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start from Abdul Carter. I know that, you just covered him, but guys, he only played this past season. That was his first year playing the edge. So guess what? He's very raw still. So that would be, one negative, I would say. So he needs some better techniques, obviously. The speed and physicality is obviously there. You see him, jump off the camera there, into your television set, and we saw him against Notre Dame just light it up with one arm, essentially, right? This guy did look like Micah out there wearing number 11, just flying around. But I will say that he probably needs to get a little stronger. The lack of strength kind of is, not helping him get off the guard a little bit when he's engaged in the block. So that needs to improve a little bit. And then, I don't know that there's really a really good comparison out there. Maybe Adafe Owe from the Ravens, but
it's very hard because you're right. He has so little experience.
We don't know what he's going to really turn into.
Kind of reminded me of Von Miller, to be honest. I wanted to say Von Miller, but I don't know.
Well, back to the Aggie there. Size, strength, obviously huge. I don't know if you guys definitely watched some of his highlights. He's got a really nasty spin move that he just turns on a dime. He's just able to just absolutely destroy.
Sorry, Joe, I wanted to point out this rep particularly is against LSU. And LSU has a guy named Will Campbell on the line who's going to be a top draft pick. And this is great reps to see. Also on the same video, I've got him going up against Kelvin Banks Jr., another lineman that we're expecting to be a top guy. So he's gotten some quality reps out of the SEC. So, regardless, I like that we're getting to see him against real competition. And he's getting beat in some of these spots. So I think on this one, he actually gets a spin move off. Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, I remember. So it's like he has some moves in the bags that he can pull off, but he has been getting stopped against some of the top guys.
Yeah. So acceleration is subpar from what I saw, and ability to fight the pressure. One player that he's been compared to is Cam Jordan, and I think it's appropriate considering how tall he is.
Saints, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah. So, where we're drafting, we would have to take him in the second round, and I don't know how far back he would fall, like middle of the second round. Like I could see him being gone pretty easily before then.
Someone's gonna have to really like him, because there's so many good players in that range at different positions. But I would not be upset if we came away with him. He's a, I mean.
Yeah, I remember thinking James Pierce was a little bit faster, but like that's like more first round. Great.
It's definitely first round. Yeah,
Gordon, not as fast, but has some moves. And like, if we were to go running back in the first round, then I think we might be looking at a guy like Nick here. So,
yeah,
I would love to move on to running back because I don't want to take a running back in the first round because there's some
there's so many good players in the first round, right? You're right. Yeah. I totally agree, Alex. I think the best formula is to. Well, anyway, we won't get into that yet. Let's just cover these running backs. These two guys, Amarian Hampton and Caleb Johnson, are who we're looking at tonight. And let me start with Amarian. I'll keep this short and sweet. If you want to roll the tape, really pops after first cut. Great size, a 6', 220. He doesn't go down early. I think he'd be great in a good system. I think he's got to have a good system because I don't feel like he does everything well. I might be wrong. I'm not sure how well he can make something out of nothing. So he's not a, I don't know. He's not a slasher, I guess. He's got great vision and he finds space. But I think this guy can carry a load. Like this is the kind of guy that you could give 25 carries a game to. Like, and he'll wear a defense out. It looked like he did that a lot in college. And with so if he leans into that and puts a little more bulk and the system allows it, I think he could be a total bruiser, like a maybe not a Garrett Blount type, but maybe a little leaner, a little more modern version of a LeGarrette Blount. Incredible college player. I'm not sure it all translates though, but great prospect. You have to take him in the top 50 or 60 picks.
Yeah, the guy's big, got some, good enough size. No, he does not have like Nick Chubb breakaway speed where he's like kind of the complete package in that way.
I agree.
But I definitely think the fact that we have no running back 1 and no running back 2 signed to the roster, or 3 for that matter, you have to get a guy who could be that workhorse. And that's kind of why I'm actually thinking that he might not fall. It actually is not likely to fall to us in the second round, unfortunately. That's kind of the crazy part. I think in our last episode, we did trade up for a second round pick and a third round pick. That's the type of thing I think we need to do is like get up a little bit earlier in that second round if we want this guy. This gives me the vibe of like a top 3 picks of day 2 type of guy. Just one of the first guys to go off the board in the second day of the draft. So he's got basically everything we need, especially if we do have a good line. And we only got one receiver, but I would love to have him added to the mix here. And regardless, Rico Dowdle got 1,000. I think this guy can easily get 1,000 every season with the Cowboys.
It's so cool seeing that Jordan flak jacket on him.
Yeah. I'll just kind of mirror what you guys said. Runs behind his pads. I think that's evident. He's always moving forward. No one's going to stop him, and just not the first guy, right? He's always going to run through that tackle. I would also say that you mentioned his vision, Dave. Vision is almost second to none. This guy might have the best vision coming out of the draft. You see him there. He's got the patience, a little bit of explosiveness. Now he does lack some wiggle in the open field. I think we've seen, he's kind of just like a straight line runner. I see it like
after those after 4 steps, he's like in his flow.
We've looked at a lot of guys, and you're right. I think the glide or wiggle is not quite there.
Yeah, so I might compare him to shades of David Montgomery is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. And take a look at this comment from Fizz right here. Remember, we did this last year. We drafted no running back. He's saying, forget the first round. If this team didn't take a running back at all, it wouldn't surprise me. They just don't care for the position like they used to. The new offensive scheme will determine if we draft running back. And the thing is, guys, I'm a person who believes this is a deep draft class. You could have actually drafted a running back last year as the Cowboys deep and gotten a decent player like a Ray Davis or something like just something. My point is, I think this class is better, and you could still potentially wait and get a guy in that same range, around the 5th round that you might like.
Based off our mocks alone, like Scatterboot is not going until like the second to last round. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what your take is on Scatterboot Fizzle, but there's that type of talent that could be there.
Yeah, I think this is I mean, they're going to take a running. I feel super strongly they're going to take a running back at this draft, and I think they have the personnel in the front office kind of forecasted this draft class, because if you think about how much more in depth these NFL front offices are than me, and everybody else, like they're looking a class ahead or two. And I think they're going to cash in this year. Now, it may not be in the first 3 rounds, which maybe that's what I want them to do. But I think they're going to take somebody, even if it's in the 5th round. They have 3 5th-round picks, I believe. So somebody's going to get taken.
Yeah, it might even be 4, actually. We're pretty loaded. Shout out to Dave for giving the front office credit, because I'm a fantasy football guy, right? And one of the things that I'm great at is just being patient. And I can look ahead at the next class and be comfortable gambling that what I think is going to happen is actually going to happen. And if the coaching staff or Will McClay was like, look, the next year's running back class is way better. And guys, just so you know, there's a Bucky Irving, there's a Tyron Tracy, and that was it. Those are the starters. Yes, you had Isaac Garendo get some starts. That's it. That was last year's class. The hottest guy played 2 games, and he was a former Texas Longhorn. So this class is just this class is way better. Yeah. And I think we can wait. People have to be comfortable being patient in the draft.
And they had Rico. Guys. They wanted to go with Rico last year. Like that was they had decided
for that. They gave Pollard that chance. They gave Rico that chance. They have given guys chances to and who cares if it's kind of a selfish thing. Maybe they want those guys in the future to be loyal to them because, hey, remember we gave you a chance and no one else would. Regardless, I respect it. They're giving guys chances and they are capitalizing on those chances at the same time.
Yeah. Let's go to Caleb. Are you guys ready for Caleb?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This guy's good. This guy is really freaking good. I was saving this film watch, and I just watched the highlights. I don't watch every snap. I don't have time for that crap. I wish I did. But dude, this guy runs away from people. He's 6 foot 225, great balance, glides like or better than Travion Henderson, who I harped on very hard for gliding through.
Dude, see that jump cut? That's pretty good.
He also runs leaning forward, a lot like Travion Henderson. If you watch, he's always leaning forward, and it makes him so hard to tackle in that sense. He's got, again, the balance. My comp for him is prime DeMarco Murray. That's what he looks like. DeMarco Murray, like the way he runs, kind of loose, and you don't know
the white gloves,
like Murray. The giant hands. Give me the OJ hands. I love these big hands. So clean through the hole, runs upright. His vision. I think when you run upright, what you gain from that is vision. What you lose from that typically is balance. Like if you're up too high, you don't have as much balance, but he still maintains his crazy balance. He splits defenses and takes it to the end zone. I mean, it's easy to say, especially if you're just watching his highlights. This guy is, is he not Genty? No, he's not Genty. But if Genty wasn't in this class, he'd be the Genty of this class. The guy, he's incredible.
Yeah, and it kind of makes me want to remind us that last week we did a breakdown of Nick Singleton, and he went back to the class. And for a moment, I was like, man, sucks that he went back. But there's just so many other guys still. It's kind of awesome.
You're right.
Fizz, he's making some good points. Like Rico was undrafted. We made him a 1, and Pollard was late. We made him.
He wasn't a for 1 year though. It took him some time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and we do want some immediate impact to come in right when Dak's ready to cook. I just think there's too much talent to where you could be playing pin the tail on a donkey with your eyes blindfolded, and you could just get a random running back that's probably decent in this class. But there's just so many guys that actually have the what I call prototypical size and speed of that 220 plus pound. Like, that's great. I think you're going to be durable at that point. And then if you have the speed too, breakaway speed, I'm just like, these are top guys. Last year's class, Caleb Johnson versus Jonathan Brooks. I mean, I know Brooks had the production for that one season, but at the end of the day, I mean, size and speed wise, I mean, he feels a little bit comparable as far as like what you would hope to get out of the guy when you're just talking about a plug and play running back. So I would love to get this guy. There's so many other guys
I know
maybe we don't even reach on him, but
somebody get this guy when we're looking at receiver or when we're looking at defensive lineman. I just don't think it's going to line up for us. He's so good though, man. He's going to have a great career, in my opinion.
Can I just add one thing, guys? Like, with what Fizz is saying, and real quick, Joe, you might go on mute. Just, I keep kind of putting in the description we're going to talk about free agents. We're not necessarily going to do that in this episode, but Fizz does bring up a good point. Like, there are some free agent running backs. Yes, Najee was a former first-round pick, and I don't love that he's not fast, but he's the least injured player in the NFL. He's missed 0 games at running back. He's the only running back to do that. And he's had 1,000 yards. 1,000 yards every season. The problem I have with Najee is I want an explosive running back. I need some dynamicism in this offense. I need a difference maker. I don't just need 3.5 yards. So that's why I'm out on Najee. But there might be other guys. But I do think on one of our future episodes, we need to make sure we break down more of the free agents is all I'm really trying to get at.
Sure.
Yeah. I think after the draft, that makes sense. Let me just give my quick take on Johnson here. Tough runner, can break big plays at any moment. You see the speed, the top end speed there. He has that ability. Excellent receiver out of the backfield. I don't know that we've seen too many pass catching highlights here, but one comparison that I think he would draw is an Arian Foster.
Okay.
He's kind of got that same stride. You know what I'm saying? And an excellent receiver, as I was mentioning. He can do everything really, really well, and he's got little speed, little wiggle, little power.
That might fit better than my DeMarco Murray one. I agree. Aaron Foster, that's a good call.
Yeah, man. I love Foster. And Joe, let me just do a quick correction. Free agency is March 13th. NFL drafts the end of April. So we'll get into free agency well before the draft is over. But, anyway.
Oh, you're right.
Y'all ready for these receivers?
Yeah, let's do it. So we're switching off of Caleb Johnson, and we're going to the next prospects. So out of Stanford, I actually have some Stanford pajamas. My uncle went there, and that campus is beautiful. I went to check out that campus before I ended up going to UT, but wow, that's sick. Okay, a lot of nice trees. But Alec Ayo Manor is how I'm pronouncing it. I remember when we were doing a mock draft, and I did not know how to pronounce it, so I'm glad I've been able to figure that out since then.
Nice.
But Stanford receiver, not a big track record here. This guy is coming out of Canada originally. Only 2 years. If you look at the bottom, he's the only prospect we've covered that has only 2 years of production. He did redshirt his first year. And one of our guys, Jordan, had shown kind of a list of, different players and how they've had a, exemption or whatever you want to call it to be able to be NFL draft eligible.
Because he satisfied his academic, eligibility there. Yep.
Yeah. So, and we're not going to really deep dive in there, but he's like the second guy on the list. A lot of Texas guys you'll see.
A ton of Texas guys.
Yeah. But anyway, point is, he's only got 2 years. He's only got 2 years of experience. So this is a raw guy. That's just a fact. But still 6'2". We'll see what the actual combine measurements come out to be. But the PFF grade is not amazing, so stat nerds are going to be like, Okay, but 831 yards this past season. 63 catches, 63 the year before that. So pretty consistent. And I mean, I don't know, man. I'll play some highlights here, but
I'll make it easy for you. Let me make it easy for you, Alex. I don't like this guy. He's got potential. There's no doubt. He's 6'2", 210. He's quick. He's solid hands. I think the hands are good. He looks like he's concentrating on the catch, and he makes good cuts on his routes. But I'm not sure he gets the most out of all his opportunities. He plays it, even in his highlight reel, it looks like he's playing very safe.
Can I just say, like, we already have this guy on our team. His name is Jonathan Mingo, and that's who he compares to.
Oh,
He's the exact. That's who I have. So Dave, yes, I don't necessarily like him either.
All right, well,
he's from a town called Medicine Hat in Alberta, Canada. So those are my stats for him.
Is he the Tristan Thompson? Is he gonna anyway? So he's great at spotting the ball. I think he's a heady player. I think he's thinking a lot, and that slows him down a little bit. Very calculated. Those are the type of words I use describing him. And so I don't think he has the instincts. Like you look at Burden and some of these other guys that are just literally playing without thinking, like a playing without thinking. So I think he could be a good system player because I think he's a smart kid, probably that Canadian school system.
Okay.
He can read defenses, but I just don't see the big upside. I think he's got a high floor but a low ceiling.
Yeah,
he doesn't have that separation. He looks like Mingo out there, bro. And this is against college players.
Up 3 rounds.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
It was nice to mix this guy in.
Yeah, I wanted to see him. I wanted to see him really bad. I've heard a lot about him.
Yeah. We're not just getting the top guys because, look, we have to make some sacrifices somewhere. I just think wide receiver is a huge need. And even though our last transaction was for Jonathan Mingo, it's just we have to keep trying to address it because Brandon Cooks has been our number 2 for years, and he's getting old. And I don't see Tolbert actually being the number 2. Like, I like that I saw for Tolbert at the end, but he's not our number 2, period. And we to win the Super Bowls, if that's the goal, get a receiver in early so that even if we don't win it this next season because we're gonna have a new coach, maybe in 2 years, that receiver is now sophomore.
That catch is nice. This catch is nice.
It was nice. Yeah. That's great. I mean, everyone has a catch like that on their highlight.
You're against a 5'10" corner. Okay.
I feel
what there's tight ends with that catch.
This guy's future is defensive coordinator or office. Like they're saying, we're gonna make Ayo Manor beat us. Like that. That's what I see his future as. Is that there's gonna be a CeeDee Lamb on every, or there's gonna be somebody, and they're gonna be like, we're gonna make Ayo Manor beat us. So I don't think he's a one-on-one beater. So that's not a good.
Promise
that's not a
me
good
that
thing.
we'll review Tyler Warren next time. Like,
dude, I'm all about it. We can absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Y'all want to move to Savion?
Yeah.
What's our last guy?
60 catches, 611 yards, 6 touchdowns, but then
y'all better be smiling.
Also 51 carries. And
wild.
322 yards, 6 touchdowns. So I remember just kind of slightly thinking, like, is this Turpin? But not as fast. But you let me know, Dave.
Come on, man.
How are you feeling?
This guy
on the All-Pro?
is a crazy prospect. Like you can't take him in the first round, but at the end of the second round, you might start thinking about taking this guy because he's 6'5", 225, and the hairdo puts him at 7 foot.
Yeah.
So here's what I wrote about him.
Here's
what I wrote about him, dude. This guy's got, first of all, the highlights are butter. This guy looks incredible on the highlights.
Yeah,
he's got great cuts.
I'm running back.
He's cutting at full speed. He's a concentration catcher. Bad DVs will have no chance. If anybody is a sub.
Ooh.
Like any number 2 or 3 is going to get cooked by this guy. I wrote Jesus Christ, incredible vision, ball carrier,
jumping.
Just
back.
Throw it up to this guy. Look, this quarterback, I don't know his name at TCU, doesn't look great. He's throwing up these. He's winging it like this. Every time he throws it to Savion, he just lobs it up. Savion catches it every time. He has those long hands. He's got OJ hands. All right, this guy's got big ass hands. A great runner. New school TCU, whoever the TCU play caller figured him out and just said, listen, quarterback. He probably grabbed the quarterback in the face and said, "Stop effing around and just loft it up to Savion."
Yeah.
Kind of like an AJ Green type. Is kind of what I saw from him. But even I don't know, more versatile than AJ Green. Maybe not as high of a ceiling, but the dude is. I mean, get this guy in your team, man. Any mock that has that you give up, you pass on receiver early and you take Savion late, you school. That's how you get savvy with these mocks. And the mocks are BS. They're never really going to play out like that. But man, getting Savion.
Stay tuned for our mock. Wow. Let me just say on Savion, great moves in the open field, right?
7
phenomenal range.
Good one.
Phenomenal range. Well, when he's trying to go up to catch the ball, obviously at that height, just a playmaker, strong hands. He is a raw route runner, and their drops are a concern for him. But the guy that I kind of see when I see him out there is a Deebo Samuel. Maybe not quite as, he might be a little taller than Deebo, but I just see him out there kind of doing the same stuff.
So imagine if we go Tet in the first round, Tet McMillan in the first round, and then we take this guy who's also 6'5", dude, in like the third round.
It's gonna sound crazy, but like, I'll take almost any 1, 2, 3 if it has Savion as the third player taken over almost any 1, 2, 3 with Tet as the first, because I feel like the value of getting Savion, if you get him in like the third, is so high.
He's that running back right here, direct snap.
And he throws it.
I
watched this
passing touchdown.
and Tyler Warren did that in his last game. Exact same play, actually.
I heard
touchdown.
I heard Voch Lombardi talk about him quite a bit, and I was like, "We'll get to him." I knew we were going to get to him. This guy is a monster.
I haven't heard Voch's take on him, but
dude, I mean, they don't have him in the first, but they all got him in the second. I mean, this guy. I mean, watch the highlight. Do yourself a favor. Watch 3 or 4 minutes of this guy's highlights, and you're gonna want this guy in your team. I mean, he just looks so fluid and so instinctual. So earlier I talked about a guy who didn't look like he had instincts. I am Minor. This guy's got instincts. I mean, he's a football player. I want him on my team bad. I'll take him in the second round. You give me. I mean, imagine you taking Genty and Savion.
I want some explosiveness. Like, make it hard to guard, because you're also going to still have Turpin.
Yeah. Once Dion decides to take those guys, it's gonna be great.
Just a great player, man. I'm super excited. This kid, I mean, he's done so well for himself. He's separated himself from the pack. This guy's going to get drafted higher than probably everyone thinks. Can he go in the first round? It depends on who's taken already. But I can see a team saying, I don't want Egbuka. I want Savion. I can see it. It might be crazy.
Yeah, but Buka is like like a sure-handed catch guy. I think most teams will want.
Buka's great. He's a great player. But the ceiling on this Savion though is
you should be able to get both if you really want them. But I know there's a lot of needs. So we're going to basically jetpack through this mock draft just to
let's do it
because
let's wrap it up.
Let's go. No trades.
No trades. No trades. Straight up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sorry for stretching this one out, boys. I know I did a lot of talking, but I was excited about the topics today, man.
7 rounds.
This is an important episode, man. I've been looking forward to this one for a while. Well, since the beginning of the week. Yeah, but yeah.
Can y'all see my screen?
No. I see Abdul Carter scored.
I see Abdul Carter.
Yeah. That's all I need to know. Boom.
Thank you.
All right. So we are ready to start the draft. No trades, and it goes Cam Orchard, Sanders, Tet McMillan, Travis Hunter, Mason Graham, Will Johnson, Abdul Carter, Nick Scorton, double oof, Malachi Starks, Will Campbell, Luther Burden. Luther's gone ahead of us every single time, either at the 9 or the 10 or 11. So interesting. But Genty's there again. He's been available many times for us. We've been avoiding Genty just so we can see what other draft combinations are. We've taken Kelvin Banks Jr., I believe, and one, and James Pierce at this spot at one point. So who are you feeling, fellas?
I don't think you do anything unnatural here. You take the best player available and you
Let's go
gently
with
vote
Jenny.
the Dallas Cowboy.
All right, let's
I
do
agree.
it. I want some explosiveness. He's going to give us some explosiveness. For me, that's the pick. I'm good with it. We'll review Tyler Warren next week, but I just think he's not as explosive as we're going to overdraft him at that point.
You know what I want here? We talked about him. We might as well put your money where your mouth is. I want Savion right here. Just take him.
Oh God,
let's do it.
Okay, let me go find him real quick. And
no, you passed him. You passed him.
Oh, passed him. Oh snap! All right, hold on.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
A couple of volunteers there. Yeah. There we go.
So we got a running back and wide receiver. I'm happy right now. Those are our top two needs: running back, wide receiver. We knocked them off in a row. Tackle.
Deion Sanders is happy right now.
We need some defense or some offensive line.
So Isaiah Bond, but it looks like we're passing at this point. We got one tackle. That's a need.
Okay. I got one. I want this guy Charles Grant from William and Mary. I've heard Broadus and Voch Lombardi both talk about this guy, that we need to see his tape. Now, the Bill and Mary tape might be really low on our list, but I've heard this guy is a legit tackle prospect.
All right.
Okay, so okay.
I'm down, but we'll look. We're gonna look.
Grant or Harmon? Oh shit, Trey Harris is down there too.
Brother, Trey Harris is down there.
Yeah, he is. So,
well, we already drafted a wide receiver. We can't do that.
Yeah, no, we're fine not going receiver. It's just what we should always do in these mocks is just show the people what's available there. Like for the fact that Quinshon Judkins is available, like people should be aware of that, or some of these other guys, because it kind of further harps on like maybe we could wait, maybe we could, but at a certain point, I don't want to go too far down there. Yes, we like Trey Harris, and Isaiah Bond's super fast. One of the guys that works with the network I'm with, he works also on the side with Orange Bloods, and he's looked very closely at Isaiah Bond. He thinks he's going to be super freaky athlete. Similar to
Xavier Worthy type.
Yeah.
But I've also heard Harmon is a stout ass mofo at D line. So, what do y'all think? A tackle or a D lineman? Those are the two I'm looking at here.
Best player available at either of those positions would be my pick.
We'll go with Charles Grant.
All right, let's go with him.
We
need to watch him. I've heard great things about this guy.
Bill and Mary, let's go.
Yeah, it feels weird, but we'll just take it.
Just do it.
And remember, we got no 4th round picks, so we're waiting the long wait. It looks like some guys have gone. Harmon went.
This would be fun.
Harmon went 3 picks later for what it's worth. Okay. Majors went 2 picks before us. We took him in our last draft. All right, now
I've heard Curtis Rourke as a candidate for the Cowboys. I heard that from Double Move. He's a great YouTuber. If you guys check out his Cowboys content, he likes Curtis Rourke as a pick of the 5th round. I don't know anything about the guys in the picture here though. So
1, 2, 3, 4 5th round picks that we have.
Damn.
So who and what quarterback replacing? It's Trey Lance, right? He's the contract's up.
So. Cooper Rush is up too.
So we do need a QB. Let's just keep looking. I'd probably rather go edge, but
we're not. Yeah, we're not drafting a QB this early.
An LSU edge sounds enticing. I don't know anything about the guy, but
I say we go edge.
Jackson Dart doesn't go this late. I think
he'll be there in our later 5th.
Yeah,
let's go strictly edge.
I like Joe's idea. I don't know much about him, but it does sound. We do need D-line help.
Well, we've hit every single need: running back, wide receiver, tackle, edge. We've hit all of them in a row, which we've never done.
Now BPA.
Let's go with Rourke because I just heard about this guy, and obviously our guy
all right,
Nard is gone.
Boom, and then 2 picks later, we're back on the clock. This is where I say,
y'all take this one.
Let's see.
Maybe another playmaker.
You know, I might take a flyer on a Notre Dame tight end because historically those guys have worked out well. I know, I'm saying this wearing Notre Dame here, but
all right.
Those guys always produce.
I'm gonna pass.
That's fine. This is
Shiloh Sanders?
We took that quarterback, right? We did. Dang, I would have taken Jackson Dart, but anyway.
No, if it's Dion drafting, then Shiloh's definitely
Shiloh.
going this round.
Not at this
Dion's
pick.
taking
He'll be there. Shiloh.
He'll be there next round, dude.
Yeah. Let's just go BPA a little earlier. First of all, Joe, I'm sorry. I just way prefer Luke Lachey over the tight end for Notre Dame.
That's fair.
And we did the Notre Dame homerism last episode. We're going Luke Lachey.
Nice.
Welcome to the team. All right, we're on pick 175, and then we got 188 next.
If we're not taking Shiloh, then what are we even doing? I'm just kidding.
Let's take him with the next pick.
He's around.
Woody Marks is a great running back.
Look, Mitchell Evans. That's Mike Evans' brother. Just kidding.
What other positions? So cornerback.
Corner, secondary. Secondary makes sense. This Dalen Carnell, BPA secondary.
Could go linebacker. Overshone's gonna probably be out next season. Also, so we could do something there.
That's true. Let's go linebacker. Let's go 2 Ds. Let's go a linebacker and a secondary and just BPA on both.
All right, give me the name.
So I guess linebacker or safety,
Jamon?
Elijah Clark.
Okay.
Just take the BPA secondary, and then we'll take BPA linebacker.
Sweet. Then we will take. Dart shouldn't be here this late. Marks probably would have been a great pick here, but anyway. BPA. So Burks.
No, we got a secondary. Let's go linebacker.
Okay, linebacker.
So Walker. Yeah, let's just take him.
And we'll take Sanders with the next pick, unless.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, if he's there, let's take him.
Should we just take him now? He's not going to be there next pick.
Yeah, just take him. Why not? I mean, we're trying to. This could be Sanders.
We're trying to recruit. We're trying to recruit.
Trying to appease Dion. If he can't get Shador, let's get Shiloh.
He has to take Sanders with that pick.
Yeah.
All right, Walker went to the Lions. Of course, they took him. God, idiots.
Dart, there's our guy, Jackson Dart.
Well, you'd have to take him at this point. I don't think it's realistic.
Get him.
But
get him.
We're taking.
This is a great draft. I like this draft.
Solid draft. Should be an A- at least.
That replaces both Cooper Rush and Lance, though. So, kind of works out. Super cheap. I like having those extra picks. So, good work, fellas. Let's see the grade. Drum roll, please. Boom. A-. All right.
Called it.
That was good.
A for Genty.
Man, if this was the thing, I mean, I don't really know much about our guys after the first 3 rounds, but looks good to me.
Yeah, and 2 A's for the quarterback picks. Kind of random, but I'll take it. And then that is it. This is what the first round looked like, folks. One real quick look at the roster. We got Ashton Genty, a running back, Savion Williams, who we think's pretty kind of versatile in the run game for some misdirection, but also in the pass game, on the other side of CeeDee Lamb, and then a little tackle action there. We'll see what happens. Edge from LSU, Brandon Swinson, Curtis Rorick, Luke Lachey, who I like, and I think we go way higher than this. Elijah Clark, Shiloh Sanders, Jackson Dart, who also I think go way higher than this. So got some steals, but I like it. So good work, fellas.
Looks good to me, man. That would get me excited. I think you replace so many players there. Now the defense is a little light. We didn't get a linebacker, but you give it up to just lead the league in points and yards on offense, dude.
Yeah, that Sanders pick would have been a linebacker, and we probably could use like a more a linebacker we feel more.
And the Cowboys always take a linebacker when you don't want one. They always do. So
yeah.
It is an important position too.
One of those 5th rounders is going to be a linebacker, guaranteed.
100%.
Cool. Well, that'll do it. Man. That'll do it. Good work, fellas.
Extended episode today. Very important, very cool episode. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It was a lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, y'all take it easy. We will. Let us know if you got some other players you want us to check out for the next episode, and we might have a new coach by next time we tap back in with you guys. So, be safe this weekend. Enjoy the college playoffs, the NFL playoffs, and we'll be back. There'll still be some more football to play. Good luck, Notre Dame.
Write it, Joel. Write it.